Hey nerds, welcome to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies. I'm Brian from Good Nerd Bad Nerd. So this week on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a lot happened. We had some great moments with Fitz. We finally are getting more and more information about what really happened to May, where she is, what kind of state she's in, and we got a big bomb drop about what's going on with Radcliffe. But before I get into all that, anytime there's comments on the videos, I want to talk about them and address them and answer any questions people had put out there. But the one I'm talking about this week comes from Kyle William Livingston, and he was, here's the comment, he's addressing when I said this was kind of the first connection between the shows. And he's absolutely right. There have been other connections. You have the St. Agnes Orphanage, Carl Crusher Creel, the Dogs of Hell, the gang war in Hell's Kitchen, the New York Bulletin, Cybertex, Micro, all of these characters and locations and events that he's listing. These are all definitely connections. For me, though, these fall more to Easter eggs, and I think this is why I was so excited about the Judas Bullet. This was seemingly a plot-important device that was now directly related to both shows, you know, currently happening and not in the background, not just an offhand comment, but, you know, it's a very specific item, you know, a piece of technology that uses alien technology. I mean, you can really say that it ties in the Avengers as well, because it did say, if I remember correctly, it uses Chitauri technology as well. But that being said, he is exactly right. There are all of those other Easter eggs. But for me, this was the first big, like, plot important connection between the Netflix stuff and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But, you know, Kyle, you are exactly right. Those things are there, and I just wanted to point that out, that there are Easter eggs that cross over, but this, you know, for me, was what it was. But moving into the episode, Fitz was outstanding in this episode. Fitz has been great for a long time, and the last couple episodes we've been worried about Fitz. Is he obsessed? Is he got some weird fascination? Which, you know, he's a tech guy, obviously he would. But this week we learned he's actually been investigating what happened, because he didn't for a minute believe that the Darkhold had corrupted Ada. And we find out he's been trying to figure out what really happened. An investigation that actually should have happened. This, you know, you want to find out why a piece of technology or an asset went rogue or didn't work. And so Fitz was doing something actually I find to be very responsible. And it's because of him that we figure out what is going on with Radcliffe. And when they capture him and he's interrogating him, that moment he draws the gun and just shoots him square in the head was just brutal. The betrayal Fitz is going through and feeling that Radcliffe has basically been lying to him this whole time, and that he's been an LMD for who knows how long. That was a pretty intense scene, but it was great, and I just loved how it played out. Next, so we find out what's going on with May, the Sunset Protocol, whatever that is, which I'm assuming that is just a program or orders put in Ada to replace a human with an LMD. Well, so that's what it is, but we also find out where she is, and we've gotten hints about what she's going through in the kind of Matrix-like world, the framework that they call it. And we see the first one that failed, and then we see the one that doesn't, where she knows. They've basically told her every time that she's gone through it that she is in something called the framework. So she knows she's fighting, but because she's fighting, it's helping it get better and stronger. Very cool. Very hard to say how this is going to play out and how she'll actually escape. Doesn't seem like she'll be able to escape on her own without some outside help. But at the moment, it's just nice to get some answers about what she's going through and where she is. And it seems right now her physical self is on a leaky submarine somewhere or in some sort of tunnels. But more of that obviously will come once we figure out what's going on with the Watchdogs and their main leader, the Superior. So next, the Superior. This is a hard guy to pin down about who we think he is. There is a character in Marvel Comics who goes by the codename Superior, but it's not that guy. His name is Jonathan Gallagher, and he was a naval intelligence officer, and when he was done in that role, he started his own top secret intelligence agency called The Bridge, similar to S.H.I.E.L.D., but more naval-oriented, the bridge obviously making sense. But he was always kind of on the right side of the law. Nothing about him fits this. The only thing that really fits is his name, Superior. So who do I really think he is? Well, if you go back to the comics, the Watchdogs in part were funded by Red Skull and Hydra. So yes, Hydra, maybe they're not dead, even though they think that they have eliminated all known Hydra cells. It's possible there's still some people out there. It's possible there's still some people pulling the strings, getting into position to do what they want. And if you look at who the named characters are that we have already been familiar with, Daniel Whitehall, Baron von Strucker, Red Skull, we've got Nick Fury in the world, Dum Dum Dugan has been in the world. There's a lot of these characters that have come out of a specific group called the Great Wheel of the Zodiac. And this comes out of Secret Warriors, I want to say one of the earlier ones, but there's some characters in there who do make possible candidates for the Superior. And there's two really that come from this group. There's probably, these are probably way off, but I figure this is a good place to look since we have seen many people from this group come into the show or into some of the other properties. So the first one, Thomas Davidson. And he was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, kind of a partner with Nick Fury, and they were the first ones to encounter LMDs. And there was something that went wrong, and two LMDs basically imprinted themselves onto Nick Fury and Thomas. And Thomas and his LMD were working as programmers for S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point, and his LMD went crazy, and essentially crazy. I mean, its programming malfunctioned, and it started working for Hydra. And it was, pretty high up in Hydra, and so the combination of Hydra and this LMD do fit in nicely with what we're seeing. Of course, Thomas was able to eventually use his LMD and figure out a backdoor into Hydra, and that was something that they were able to use to take down and sabotage a lot of Hydra operations for many years. So he's one option. The second option is Jake Fury. Now, Jake Fury is the brother of Nick Fury, and he also had an LMD that thought he was real and went haywire and started working under the name Scorpio. And he's just a crazy LMD. You've got a top spy, and he works in the secret. Nobody would really know who Scorpio was, but it seems to fit. There's a lot of possibilities here. Now, another thing about Jake Fury is eventually he would go on to take over the Kraken guys that Whitehall had. So he infiltrated Hydra under the guise of Kraken, under people assuming basically that he was Whitehall. So there's another parallel there that fits nicely with what's happened in the show. But those are two options. What do you guys think? Is the Superior someone like that, someone that's tied to Hydra, someone that is tied to a larger evil organization, or it's just going to be maybe some random government guy that we've never met? Let me know your comments below and give me your theories on who the Superior is, and if you agree with me about the whole Judas Bullet thing, if that is just another Easter egg or if it's a more important plot element. Because, again, Kyle was right. There are those other things, but specifically, I thought this was a larger plot element used between both shows. So let me know in the comments, guys, and don't forget to check out my other theories on Supergirl and Flash. And until next week, this has been Brian from Good Nerd Bad Nerd, and this has been Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies.